Hey there, this is Dana Arcuri from danaarcuri.com, and I've had so many people through the years send me messages or contact me through my website asking me for help or asking me how I was able to overcome some wicked withdrawals and long-term side effects and all the things that I went through with different prescription drugs. And I have different videos that share in detail my nightmare with Cymbalta, my hellish ordeal with Ativan, which is a benzodiazepine. And nevertheless, I've had a whole lot of stuff happen to me with pharmaceutical prescriptions, and this really changed my pathway of healing. It changed my perspective on Western medicine and made me really take a closer look at what is going on in our world and how big pharma is basically gaining wealth. And we're the people who are just like guinea pigs who are suffering, and sometimes our doctors don't know best. There's times where we may experience some really nasty side effects or interactions or certain symptoms from medications. And while other people may have a perfect time taking medicine, that may not always be the case for us. And so I wanted to do a video on my natural chill pill. And so my little disclaimer here is that I am not a physician, and I am not even suggesting that I'm going to heal you, cure you, fix you, treat you. My medical disclaimer is that I'm just a normal person like you, and I am not a medical professional, and I don't claim to be able to treat, diagnose, or cure you. So always do your own research and become your own health advocate. So if you wanted to know about my own natural chill pill, I wanted to first give a little back story for those who have not watched my videos on the Ativan and on Cymbalta. And so both medications are for a wide variety of reasons. And as for myself, I was prescribed Cymbalta for the fibromyalgia, and I was prescribed the Ativan for the insomnia that I started experiencing after I was prescribed Cymbalta. So, little side note, that isn't it interesting that our doctors just keep putting more drugs on top of each other because of the side effects. So you're taking one medication, but you're having negative side effects, and so you're giving another drug to treat the first drug's side effects. I mean, just something's really messed up about that. That's all I have to say. Nevertheless, I was going through some really bad times. So from 2009 all the way through like 2012, 2013, I was recovering from heavy duty potent chemicals. So the first drug to go was Cymbalta in 2010, in which my doctor took me off of Cymbalta and placed me on Prozac. Another side note, isn't it interesting that when they take you off one drug, they just can't leave it alone? They have to add more drugs. Yeah, let's keep big pharma in business. So we stopped Cymbalta. That was horrible. I had suicidal ideation. I attempted suicide. I am today a living survivor. My suicide was unsuccessful, and I am thankful today that I'm alive, because I know that this video can help others realize that there's so much more out there as far as treatment, as far as wellness, as far as depression, anxiety, panic attacks, and physical pain, such as autoimmune disorders or back conditions. I mean, everyone has their own story, and my story is very much surrounded around the fibromyalgia and back problems, but along with it was the anxiety, the depression, the insomnia. Then I have the ADHD, so hey, Adderall came on board. And, you know, before I knew it, I was taking all these drugs. And so we get rid of the one, Cymbalta, they put another one on top of it, Prozac. And 1 month later, I am going through horrific withdrawal symptoms, thinking, what's going on? When I decide, take a closer look at another drug I was taking, which is Ativan, which is a benzodiazepine. Big FYI, red alert, do your own research. You don't want to take that drug. Watch my video on Ativan. It's a nightmare. just arm yourself with knowledge, because knowledge is power. I started realizing that Ativan was a problem in December 2010, so I started tapering it alone because my doctor was out of the country on vacation for 1 month. Yeah, so where did that leave me? Left me pretty much to wing it alone, in which it landed me in the hospital. So it was my second time being hospitalized over medication mishaps, in which the doctor in the hospital did a fast and furious taper and abruptly stopped Ativan and sent me home, in which I had panic attacks, wicked withdrawals. I had nausea, dizziness. I felt like I was on a merry-go-round and the room was spinning in wicked circles around and around and around. And I had physical pain, abdominal pain, panic attacks that surfaced out of nowhere because prior to Ativan being abruptly discontinued, I never experienced in my life a panic attack. So all of a sudden I have agoraphobia, panic attacks. I have like all this stuff going on that I never had happen prior to this drug entering my system or leaving my system. So both ways, bringing it on board was a big, huge problem, and which I had paradoxical effects, which is the reason you are prescribed it, for me, sleep, to help with sleep. And then this paradoxical problem is that the very reason you are prescribed it to sleep is the very reason that it's going to complicate your life. And guess what? You're not going to sleep. So that was a eye-opener, and I was in a really bad shape in January 2011 when I had a fast and furious taper, and from there I decided to slowly taper Prozac, get rid of Adderall. Lots of side effects going on, lots of side effects. Nevertheless, I needed something, and I don't know if you right now are on a drug or prescribed something, or you have like a medical condition, and I'm not a doctor, so I'm not claiming that what works for me will work for you. I'm just saying I needed help, and I needed help fast, and guess what? My doctor wasn't around, my doctor wasn't helping me, and maybe you're fortunate and your doctor's on board, and they are super supportive and knowledgeable and helpful, and I'm jealous if that's the case, because I never had that. My doctors were never a team for me. They were never there for me. I was alone. And this whole process of healing, I did it by myself. I mean, other than my faith and God, I basically had to figure this whole recovery process out on my own. I had to clean up my diet on my own. I had to find my chill pill on my own. So let's get to the chill pill. It is Doctor's Best. I don't know if you could see this. Doctor's Best L-Theanine. So L-Theanine, let's talk about L-Theanine. Okay, I have my notes. Here we go. L-Theanine is an amino acid, and it's derived from black tea and green tea. And I'll be honest, if I just drink black tea or green tea, I don't really feel like I'm getting a lot of benefits from L-Theanine. I really believe that this product, this specific product, is what works for me. And drinking tea just hasn't done the trick, but this little guy here works wonders. So, what does L-Theanine do? What can it do for you? Well, I can't say if what it did for me will be identical for you, because you have a different medical history, you have different, things going on in your life, you have different concerns. I have a super duper sensitive system. I am a highly sensitive person, and that's going to be another video because it is a much needed topic. But keeping in mind that L-Theanine may or may not work for you, I believe it helped me during probably the worst withdrawals I was going through in 2011. So L-Theanine benefits. It promotes relaxation, can improve sleep, boosts concentration, it helps with alertness, and this was awesome for my ADHD, especially when I discontinued Adderall. Let's see, L-Theanine can help relieve anxiety. It has tranquilizing effects while simultaneously improving alertness. And so basically, I'm just going to sum up what it did for me. It took the edge off. When I was in wicked withdrawals, when I was feeling like I was in hell, I was suffering. It was awful. I had panic attacks. I had anxiety. I had insomnia. I couldn't sleep. I was wired and tired. It was awful. But I felt like this L-Theanine and especially this brand, I felt like it really did help me relax. It brought calm into my life. It calmed that wicked storm that I was going through. That was a godsend. Now, like I said, I don't know if it will work for you. Now, when I'm having really bad anxiety or depression, or I can't sleep, I take 2 capsules. But if it's in the day and I just want a little focus, or maybe I just want to de-stress, take the edge off because maybe I'm going through a stressful period in my life, I only need 1 capsule if it's in the daytime, and that helps give more focus and concentration for me. But at night, I take 2 capsules because I feel like that really helps me with the rest and the calm and the ability to just shut off that inner noise. You know what I'm talking about, that little chatter that goes on at night. You no sooner lay your head down on that pillow and it's like, your mind's just going. It's just going. You've got a zillion things. I need to do this. Oh yeah, don't forget that. Oh yeah, remember, da 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 da. And you have like all these thoughts just like racing through your head. And part of it, I think, is the ADHD. The other part is I think I have a damaged central nervous system and messed up neurotransmitters from benzos and from Cymbalta. But that, again, is another story. And either way, all that matters to me is that I found something natural. I have not had any negative side effects. I mean, for me, who's super sensitive, who has a messed up central nervous system, this has been an answer to prayer for me. And I can't say, once again, like if it will help you, if it won't help you, I can't say that because you're not me and I'm not you. So I'm only speaking for myself, but all these people are contacting me and saying, hey, what do you use? What's working? And I don't want to lead anyone astray, but on the same token, I know you need help. And I remember in my early days of going through withdrawals from Cymbalta and from Ativan, even the Prozac giving me problems, that I needed help. And so I understand where you're at, that you could be desperate and you could be at the end of your rope, and I totally get it. I validate that right now where you're at, it's real. And no one else in your life may understand, but you could guarantee there's one person, and that's me. I understand. And it's not until you go through your own hellish ordeal that you really start having more compassion for people. You start realizing that life is so short, and we just don't want to live life scared and fearful and going through withdrawals and having depression and anxiety and stuck in our home because now we have agoraphobia. I mean, that's not life. And so now that I've recovered, now that I've been 7 years free of Cymbalta, 6 years free of Ativan, also 6 years free of the Adderall and the Prozac, and 6 years just like no drugs. Yay! I am totally free of this big pharma, harsh chemicals. And the only thing I could say is that this is my journey. This is my path. This is how I healed. And I can't say what way you should go or what path you need to consider, but I can say this. Do your own research. If you're taking medication, do your research. Don't just take your doctor's word for it. Do your own little educational process where you start reading and learning, asking questions, and not just to the doctor, not just to the pharmacist. I mean, really do some underground work. There's so much out there on the internet, so you have that going for you. You could Google anything at your fingertips. And, that's really how I began on my journey, Googling black box warning for Cymbalta. Hello. Yeah, it's real. And, suicide is scary. And I don't want to see you go through what I went through. And maybe there's a more gentle, natural way for you. And it doesn't mean it's the same as my way. It's just, it could possibly be a natural method instead of something that could lead to more problems. And I just pray and hope for your recovery. If you've had great luck with L-Theanine or other natural supplements, leave a comment, like my video, share, and connect with me at DanaOrcurie.com. Thanks. Bye-bye.